Praise the Lord. My name is Joshua. I'm from Bangalore. The first time I took an Udampadi was on December 2021. So I'm somebody who's been trying for a Canadian study permit for a considerably long time. But I was rejected every single time. To be exact, I was rejected thrice. And on the other hand, I've also taken an Udampadi thrice with this very same reason. So my first rejection came on December 2021. I was actually very confident of getting my study permit because I had very high score in my IELTS and I was a distinction holder in my bachelor's. So I was very confident about getting it, but the moment I got a rejection, I was pretty distraught. I didn't know what to do. This is when my grandmother told me about Kreupasanam and she introduced me to what an Udampadi was. So since I was in Bangalore at that time, so I took an online Udampadi, and as you know, I followed it like any other novena. I only followed the prayers, I didn't do anything else. And very soon, in February, I got my second refusal. And this time I was I was actually very doubtful. I'm like, what happened? What did I do wrong? And then every time I see the retreat, Father would say, you can come here and take an Udampadi. And I was like, okay, I would actually come here, take an Udampadi, and maybe follow everything to the T. But so on August, right after I applied for my visa for the third time, I actually came here. It was pretty crowded at that time. So in August 2022, I actually took my second Udampadi, and that was when I was given around 30 papers. I was pretty ashamed, to give those papers. I was like, okay, why would I actually go and give this around? I thought, you know what, I will actually go and keep it in my church. But that very Tuesday, Father mentioned in the retreat that you're not supposed to leave it in church, but you're supposed to distribute it in person to every person that you meet. But so now I was actually in a rut because I didn't know what to do. And I used to attend evening mass. So what I did was, since it was dark, I would stand in a corner and I would try giving out papers to people. I would have given out a maximum of five papers, and that's it. And I had 25 papers remaining. But yes, I attended the retreat and I followed the prayers regularly. But again, within a month of me starting the second Udampadi, I got my third refusal. And at that time, I started questioning my faith. I'm like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm trying to do everything from my end, yet I'm not able to, cross through. All my friends who've not done half of this have already gone through. And this was when I made up my mind. I was like, you know what, I will actually have a fourth and final try, but I will not take an Udampadi the fourth time. I will do any other prayer, but not an Udampadi. So after I applied for my university the fourth time, I actually looked at my table and I actually saw all those remaining papers. So I thought, why not give it a try and follow every single prerequisite that was given. So I actually took an online Udampadi for the third time, and I went out in broad daylight and I started distributing the papers, and I started telling people about what it was and what it meant to me and what it meant to a lot of people who came here. And the very next week, I actually got my visa approval. The very next week after I did all that, and while this was a materialistic gain, I do realize there was a spiritual gain in myself as well. Because I was somebody who used to pray, but who was not very devout in prayers. But through the Udampadis, I started attending Mass more regularly. I started attending confession at least once every 2 weeks. Earlier, I used to attend confession maybe like, let's just say, during Christmas and during Easter. But now, I was a lot more regular with my confessions. And one lesson I learned from the Udampadi is to, wait for God's plan to unfold. Because a lot of times we are very eager to have our way happen, but because the fourth time when I actually got my approval, I got into a university which had a very high cutoff rate, in which I could not even imagine getting into. And I do realize that even though God might not have answered my prayers the first two times, He actually had a much better plan in mind for me. Thank you.